Welcome to the Eagle Talk Show Uncut, where conversations soar above the ordinary. Hosted by Mengistu Wolopoli, aka the Black Eagle, and the insightful Will Wilfred. Don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe to Core TV. Thank you again for tuning into the Eagle Talk Show Uncut, and it starts now.
Well, ladies and gentlemen, thank you for joining us. This is Eagle Talk Uncut with my dynamic host, Will Wilfer. Good evening, sir. How you doing? Will, good evening. Can you hear me?
Yeah, I'm getting you. I'm getting you.
The people waiting for you to introduce yourself. You quiet in the back. What's up?
Well, thank you. The name is Wilfred Dorsey, and let me say good evening, good afternoon, good morning, wherever you are, and probably in other parts of the world. And also you're in Liberia, in the 15 sub-political division of our country, from Maryland, from Sino, from Grand Crew, from River T, from Grand Bassa, Zweju, Grand Chile County, Nimba, Bong, Man, Gibi, Bolu, Bomi. I like to say good, good evening and welcome to this beautiful presentation of the Full Eagle Talk Show. And just before I give you the stage, let me say congratulations to President President Donald Trump, who won the elections today, and I think it is historic for the people of America, and I think part of around the world, not only for the people of America, but also around the globe. So I want to say salute to you, Mr. Donald Trump, President-elect of the Republic of America. And we hope that your coming to office will start a new bring peace among world leaders, especially looking at the crisis like you promised the people of Ukraine and Russia to end the war. We hope all of what you talk about during the campaign, these things going to happen.
So,
I think
Will. I gotta stop you up for a little bit. So, what is that you talking about? You stop the war in Ukraine. How is Donald Trump going to stop the war in Ukraine?
probably he made a statement, and I think it is
No,
a
but you
campaign statement.
congratulated him that he's going to stop the war in Ukraine because he says he's going to stop the war in Ukraine. So you tell me how has he said? What plan has he laid out? Say he's going to stop the war in Ukraine?
He has negotiation. He said he going to negotiate like other countries. Probably Joe Biden they've been doing to negotiate it on the roundtable
Is that what he
conversation.
said? He would negotiate?
Yeah, they're going to talk to Russia and that of
So
Ukraine to
let
say
me let me ask you this.
I think
if
was a political statement. A political statement from President Donald Trump. That was a political statement.
but right now you're trying to sell it to the Liberian people and other people that are watching around the world that he has some kind of elaborate plan that he will stop the war in Ukraine. So don't try and gaslight people about Donald Trump stopping the war in Ukraine, and bringing war peace. What war peace is he going to bring?
I mean,
I said war. What you said? War peace. What war peace is he going to bring?
well, you know, doing these conflicts, right? Civil war, you have other stuff, you have these things happening. But again, there should be a resolution. There should be some
You said civil war.
agreements.
You said
You
doing
know,
what? Say that again. Say that again. You said doing what? Civil war. What
like I
civil
said,
war?
I said in this crisis, during this crisis, the both party have to agree on a memorandum of understanding. Who wants peace? That's the first question.
Who
Is
now?
Russia willing to?
Who the both
Uh,
party?
you have Ukraine peacekeeping organizations coming and probably there where Donald Trump speaking from he is from America and
But
he can say to other
okay,
peace
let me ask you
organizations
this:
to
do you understand? Do you understand the war between Ukraine and Russia?
I think that there's a
You,
territory conflict. There's a
territory
territory
conflicts as to what?
Ukraine believe they possess. They, they want to have control over a specific area or specific part of Ukraine, and I wish Ukraine is saying no from what I have gathered. So probably
Mm-hmm.
that alone has caused the serious crack between Russia and that of Ukraine. So
So
based
okay,
on this
so
territory, Ukraine is
what
refusing.
territory is this? What territory is this that you speak of?
Well, I may not tell you the specific area, but from what I've gathered, this is a specific place that Russia wants to have a total control over. From what I have gathered, I may not
Okay, so
tell you the
let me
rightful
ask
name. I may
let me
not call
ask
the
you
name,
this.
right?
Okay, so your from your understanding of what you are saying is Ukraine have a territory that Russia say they want, and it's okay for Russia to go and take that territory.
It's okay?
I'm asking you, is that what you are saying?
No. Probably. Well, that's what I said, right? Russia is saying they are the one that owns the place. Ukraine is saying no, but that part of the area is specifically in Ukraine. If you look at the indication, if you look at probably look at the Al Jazeera television, you look at the BBC, they also report that they report on that specific area. So if Russia wants the place, I think they have history of that area. They have history of that
Okay,
place.
so
They believe
but
that place belongs.
Will,
They believe
Will, Will,
that place
Will,
belongs to that.
Will. Okay, so right now, so as you stand right now, you heard about the Soviet Union being broke up, correct? Do you know about that?
No, I have not heard of it. Probably
Okay, you have not
we
heard.
would do.
I will advise you 1989, 1990, the Soviet Union was broken up. I would advise you to go and study about that. That's one. Two, do you know that Ivory Coast, Guinea, and Sierra Leone took land from Liberia in 1847?
I know fully well. I know fully well.
Okay, so right now, so okay, you know that. So right now, so you think it would be? Do you think right now it would be okay if we attack Ivory Coast, Guinea, and Sierra Leone to get our land back?
Well, I think there was an agreement, right? An agreement was signed
No,
between
no,
Ivory Coast
no,
and
no, no,
Liberia
no, no,
concerning that land.
no, no. I didn't say agreement. I said Sierra Leone, Ivory Coast, and Guinea took our land, took land from us. I didn't say agreement. They took land from us, Liberia.
Yes, we
That's I didn't say it was an agreement. Huh?
yeah, the land they took, right? Liberia tried to fight for it. They fought for it,
No,
but
no, no.
probably
Well, I want us to be honest with the listener. I'm asking you, Ivory Coast, Guinea, and Sierra Leone took land from us. They didn't. There was no agreement. They took it. The word "took" is you doing it you are forcibly. That's the definition.
yes, that
They took it from us. So I'm asking you, do you think that we Liberia we should wage war with Ivory Coast, Guinea, and Sierra Leone to get that land back?
no, no, I
Why
don't
not?
believe. That's why I'm saying.
Why not?
That's why I'm saying yes. That's why I'm saying yes. Guinea, Ivory Coast, and Sierra Leone. Yes, they took land from us. Yeah, we
Mm-hmm.
agree. We believe that is what we learn from our history, and that history keep going. And the Guineans and all of the other two countries, they can attest to it, right?
So why we
But
cannot why can we not wage
looking
war
at
and take
this
those land back from
period,
them?
it level our leaders. If they have the forces, if they have
So
the
I'm
manpower
saying,
to
no,
take
but what
back
I'm
their
saying to
land,
you,
yeah,
okay,
they
well,
can do.
okay, let me ask you this. Let me put you like this. Are you willing? Are you willing? Do you have kids?
Yeah, I have a daughter.
Okay. Do you have siblings? Do you have brothers and sisters?
Yeah, yeah, I have brothers and sisters.
Okay. So are you as a Liberian? Are you willing? You and your brothers and sisters for us to go wage war on Ivory Coast, Guinea, and Sierra Leone to take our land back?
The answer is, and this is a question as well. Yes, do we have the strength? Do we have the manpower? If my brothers and
Yeah, we
sister,
got 5 million. We have 5 million people. We got 5 million people in Liberia. We got a lot of people who got
and
in
let's look at
Liberia
the
here.
population of
Have
Ivory Coast. Let's look at the population
no. We can take it one
of
at a
Sierra
time.
Leone.
We can take it one at a time. We will attack Ivory. We can attack Ivory Coast first and get our land back. Are you willing to join the AFL for us to go and attack Ivory Coast to get our land back?
For me, I believe I cannot join because the manpower is not up to that standard. We don't have
No,
enough
the
manpower to
manpower
go to
is up to
Ivory
standard.
Coast.
If the manpower is up to standard, the manpower will be up to standard if you join. It will help. We get everybody 16 and up to join and stuff. We can take Ivory Coast. Will you be
Well,
willing to join the military
it,
for us to
it,
go take back our land? To take back our land that Ivory Coast stole from us in 1847.
if you say
Well,
so, but
let me
those who
let
are
me
willing
add
to go and
let me
fight for
add
the land to Ivory Coast,
Mr.
they will
Barrett.
welcome. But for me,
Let me add Mr. Barrett into
I don't have the strength
let me add Mr. Barrett into this onto the stage.
to go.
Ladies and gentlemen, please
They,
welcome Mr. Richie Obey onto the show. Mr. Bay, how you doing, sir? Welcome to the show. Eagle Talk Uncut.
Hey, I'm doing well, and let me say thank you for welcoming me to the platform,
Okay.
and thank you for the opportunity as well to be part of your today's edition of the show. I think it's really
I'm
exciting to
not
be here. Um, can you hear me now? Hello.
Yeah, I can hear you now.
Okay. I was saying, thank you for the opportunity to be on the show, and thank you for welcoming
I'm
me as
hearing
well.
you, Mr. Buffett. I'm hearing you. You can go.
Good.
All right, thank you, Mr.
Go ahead, Mr.
Buffett. I
Buffett.
wish you all Buffett. Thank you. For those of you who want to know much, he will talk about himself a bit, and then we'll go into our discussion. But you've been into the land area. You've been. So, Mr. Buffett, you can go ahead and talk about yourself a bit.
All right. Thank you. Thank
Mr.
you
Buffett.
again. My name is Richlo Burfe. Yeah,
Mr.
thank you
Buffett, are you
again. My
getting
name
me?
is Richlo Burfe, and yes, I'm getting you clearly. Can you hear me? Okay, so I was
Yes, I'm
saying
hearing you. I'm
that
getting you.
Mr.
So you
thank
can go
Buffett,
ahead.
Mr. Buffett, hold 1 second.
Thank you.
Hey,
Okay.
hold 1 second, Mr. Buffett. Hey, Will, that's a delay
Yeah.
in your feed. That's a delay in your feed. Mr. Buffett is speaking, and you keep stepping on him, and he's repeating himself. So I'm about to text you something. Uh, check it out for your internet, for your internet. All right.
All right. Okay.
Go ahead, Mr. Buffett. Please introduce yourself.
Okay. So thank you very much again for the opportunity to be on the Ego Show. Um, Sorry for the bad internet connection. I'm out of the nation's capital. I'm here in Nimba, in fact, one of the remote part of Nimba. So maybe that is why the network is having a problem, but I'm hope we can have a good conversation tonight. My name is Richlo Burfe, and I am the national chairman of the Bwaikai Conscious Movement. I am an advocate, an activist, and an analyst. And it's professionally, I have a background in land tenure and property rights. I also have vast experience in community engagement, community mobilization, media engagement, public relations, and then you can go and name them. I accepted the invitation when I received it because I was hopeful. I mean, I am still hopeful that we're going to have a good conversation tonight in a national discussion or discussion on national issues about trending development in this little Miami or this great republic called Liberia. So thank you again. Maybe I'll just stop there. Sometimes I feel shy talking about myself.
Thank you, Mr. Buffett. I appreciate it. Well,
All right.
welcome to the show. Welcome to the show. It's a pleasure to have you on. I hope you have a great experience on the show and that you can come back again for us to have better discussion. Stuff. Well,
Yeah. So, Mr. Buffett, thank you for joining us. I think it is a pleasure. Hope, like you said, we're going to have a positive conversation. Yes, your all of your views are going to be protected. So again, thank you. There are too many things happening within our country that we also want to get your analysis. We want to get your view because you are one of those who supported, who strongly supported the Unity Party government. And in recent time, your stance against the government when it comes to bad governance, when it comes to some of those who are not performing within the government, and some of the ills that are happening in the government, you have spoken on them. I have followed some of your speeches or from the on your various platform, on your social media platform. But again, I want to start with the first one is the violators on the Access Declaration. Let's hear you. Since the president took office uh, over the period of, should I say, 11 months or 10 months, some of those who the president appointed, they are yet to declare their assets from the stand of the executive. These people are yet to declare their assets. And the last time we heard the president, he was in a cabinet retreat and he was like pleading and begging some of those cabinet ministers and some of those who have not declared their assets to declare their assets. You in recent time posted on your Facebook page and you were saying let's hear you on this whole access declaration.
Okay, Wilfred, thank you very much. And when it comes to the issue of assets declaration, I'm one of those that think that the president does not need to be appealing or begging people to go and declare their assets. Because upon coming into office, there is a law which we call the Code of Conduct. And this Code of Conduct calls for public officials or people appointed into government to declare their assets within a specific time. And so for us to be calling, for the president, His Excellency Ambassador Boakai, to be appealing to people to declare their assets, I think that it is unfortunate, it is unpatriotic, and it is a disservice to this very nation, to the struggle, to the fight, and all the things that we stood for. The Code of Conduct is clear, categorically clear, and make clear provisions and prescriptions on what should happen if people are appointed into government. And in this case, it outlined that if you are appointed, you should be able to declare your assets within 30 days. But we see that the LACC came up with a report that many of those that were appointed into government has failed to declare their assets. In fact, the LACC did a comprehensive report and published it. And my thing is that while these reports reach on the desk of His Excellency the President, or he just hear it in the media, is something that should catch his attention. And he should be able to take action against it. Section 10.2H of the Code of Conduct is clear. And it says that an official appointed by the president shall declare his or her assets not later than 30 days after appointment. Failure to comply, the law says, shall result into immediate suspension from office until further compliance is obtained. This is clearly written, and I don't think we need to interpret it to the president. I see that my own former lecturer when at the law school, Councillor Professor Finlay Kanga, who was appointed as chair of the ombudsman, is trying his utmost best to do well to call on these people to go ahead and comply with some of these things. I see the LACC is trying, but the onus is upon the president, because Wilfred, don't forget, we have 3 branches of government. The first branch of government, which is the legislature, is comprised of 103 members. The second branch, which is the executive, is comprised of just one person, the president. Our law provides that the power of the executive rests within the president, who is the chief executive. All other person he appoints into government works at his will and pleasure. It means that he can get rid of them at any time and he can bring people in at any time. So the president has the singular honor to ensure that the law is respected, it is enforced, and it is adhered to by every citizen of this country, including those that are in his executive branch. So I'm one of those that think that if people are appointed into government and fail to declare their assets, the president needs to exercise the full weight of the law. When George Weah was president, we complained about some of these things. We fought to get rid of former President Weah from steering the affairs of this country because we felt that he was not applying and he was not adhering to the rule of law. And when we crafted the arrest agenda, one of the arrows, in fact, the second arrows in the arrest agenda stands for the rule of law. So we need to be true to ourselves, and we need to be true to the people that we campaign to and encourage to vote for this rescue mission by ensuring that we live up to the promises we made to them when we were in the trenches, when we were in the rain, when we were under the sun, calling upon them to vote for this president. So I think the president needs to ensure that every member of his government declare the asset, or he needs to do the honorable thing.
And what is the honorable thing the president is supposed to do?
The honorable thing is to ensure that the rule of law or the law takes its course. If, as per Article 10.2H of the Constitution, of the Code of Conduct, there needs to be suspended when need be, or the law needs to take place. The rightful thing needs to happen. If the law provides that people their assets, then you need to suspend them. If the law provides that people who do not declare,
so is it safe to say that President Boycott is not leading in when it comes to enforcing the code of conduct? Why was there nothing put in place about what the requirements were if you accepted a position? Like, okay, you have to provide before you go before the Senate, you must declare your asset. 1, 2, have the LACC verify all assets declaration to say that this person asset declaration that the person declared it is truthful to the best of their knowledge. Have that taken place?
Okay, so there are 2 levels of the conversation here. The first level is declare your assets. The second level is whether what you declared is true or is false. Now, we are fighting to get these people to even declare their assets at the first level. Moving to the second level, whether their declaration is true or not, as per the valuation or the evaluators of this country is a separate conversation. My thing is, people needs to be in compliance. When they comply with the law and declare their assets, then the owners now rest upon the LSCC to move and do an analysis and an investigation as to whether what they declare or not is true or is false. But here we are tonight and previous nights fighting to get these people to declare, even in the first place. Let's talk about.
But who fault is this? Who fault is this? Who does the buck starts with?
Whose fault?
Yes.
Well, again, like I said, you see, Liberia is a unique state where it's a republic. We run a republic form of government.
Mr. Buffett.
Yeah.
What makes, when you say unique state?
What I mean by that is that we run a republic form of government where we have 3 branches of government that are independent, that are coordinate, and they operate separately. All right? That is what we, under our law, we call the doctrine of the separations of powers. We have the first branch of government, which is the legislature, that is responsible for lawmaking.
Mr. Buffett,
primarily.
Mr. Buffett.
We have the second branch, which
Mr.
is
Buffett,
for law enforcement.
So hold on, sir. Hold on 1 second, sir. Hold on 1 second. You are trying to filibuster right now. You are trying to filibuster. Yeah, I'm not going to allow you to filibuster. Joseph, the president, the current president is Joseph Numa Boyka. He is the head of the executive branch. Everybody that is in the executive branch serve at the will and the pleasure of the president. To fire each and everybody in the executive branch, he does not need the approval. To fire anybody in the executive branch, he does not need the approval of the Senate, the legislator, or the judiciary branch. So when you talk right now, where you just try to explain to the audience is filibustering and giving excuses. So I'm trying to ask you the question: if Joseph Boyka is the one that can fire these people because they are not following the code of conduct, who is responsible for him? Who is responsible for the code of conduct for the people to follow the code of conduct? If the legislative branch and the judicial branch have no power to fire any minister or anybody appointed by the executive branch, who is responsible for this? That's the question. I don't want you to filibuster.
Beautiful. I hear you talking about filibuster. I'm going to be careful not to use words that will confuse the audience, because my objective here is to provide adequate education and sufficient information to even the least amongst Liberians in this country. So I'm trying hard.
I can explain to the people what I mean by filibuster. Let me do this. Let me do this, sir.
No.
Let me explain to the people what filibuster means.
No, you don't need to save time. If you don't need to spend time explaining filibuster.
No, we got time.
If you knew that other words are more simple and more understandable to our people, you would have used those words.
Let me explain what filibuster means. Let me explain to the people what filibuster means. Let me explain to the people what filibuster means, because I want us to be honest with the people, to the audience watching now and later. Filibuster is the sense that you talk long enough to confuse the people, or you make your answer long enough to make sure that you talk around where it's really supposed to be there, so you can kind of confuse the people. That's kind of the gist of filibustering. That you just talk long for a long time, but you don't answer the question. So I will go back to you to get up on my question. Joseph Numa Boyka is the president of Liberia. he has the administration. He does not have. He's an administrator of the government. He is not the government. That's one. He's an administrator of the Liberian government. One, two. When the code of conduct is not happening, it said that if you guys just quoted it, that they are supposed to be suspended. So if the court and if the legislators, the legislature and the judiciary does not have the power or the right or the authority nor the responsibility to fire anybody within the executive branch, the only time they can fire, they can do such thing is that if they want to impeach a minister, then they can do that. But when it comes to that, the president has the authority, the responsibility, and the right to fire, sack, suspend anybody who does not follow the code of conduct. So my question to you, who fault is it that these ministers or these appointed officials are not following the code of conduct?
Beautiful. So now let me come in on this. Like I said, the second branch of government, which is the executive, headed by His Excellency the President, is charged with the responsibility of law enforcement, which means ensuring that the law is adhered to by the letter. And if you listen to one of the statements that your co-host Wilfred made, he would tell you that it tells you that I'm one of those who have been calling on His Excellency the President to ensure that the code of conduct is adhered to ensure that people that are appointed to government adhere to the code of conduct and every other laws that are in this country that governs the running of the state. To have over 60-70% of those that you've appointed into government failing to declare their assets as per the LACC's report, I think that it's not a good sign. And if in your arrest agenda, the prime proposal that brought you to the presidency, the second arrow there is for the rule of law, something that you in December of this, in January of this very year, took an oath to protect the very constitution of this country and every other laws, then I think the president should be calling on these people to declare their assets, one, or to institute a mechanism that people who are appointed will declare their assets either immediately after their confirmation or before their confirmation in the case of those who have to go for confirmation. In the case of those who do not have to go for confirmation, to adhere to the law 10.2 of our Code of Conduct H that says that people should declare their assets within 30 days of their appointment. And failure to do so, His Excellency needs to mount up the courage and ensure that the law is enforced, which calls for the law says immediate suspension of these people until they can comply. And that's what we are calling for. That's what we are asking the president to do.
Okay, so which means President Boycott, the president of the Republic of Liberia, is not following the code of conduct. Is not enforcing the code of conduct. Can we agree to that?
I would say so.
Okay, that's good. I'm glad we are getting on to something. But then my follow-up question: what is the remedy? What is the remedy for us as citizens or for people like you? What's the remedy for this to be fixed? What to make, since the president don't want to do it, what is the remedy in the law in order for to make sure that this law is being abided by?
Well, there are two things. One, when it comes to remedy, I think we as citizens needs to call on the president to do this. That's the first thing. That's the first thing. We need to remind the president that he swore an oath to protect the Constitution and every other law in this country. And there is a law called the Code of Conduct that calls.
What you just said, I want to ask a question right there. Since President Boyka is not following the law in this instant, can the legislator not impeach him for this because he's not following the law that he swore to uphold? Shouldn't he be impeached for this?
Well, when it comes to impeachment of a president, there are procedures. And
no,
so
I agree. I understand the procedure. I understand that procedure. So I'm saying, should they not call for impeachment because he's failing to abide, obey, and follow the law because he's supposed to defend and protect and abide by the law? Since he's breaking the law, the main man of the country, and he's breaking the law. He refusing because he had been more than 30 days, and he's blatantly disrespecting the Constitution and the law as the person who's supposed to be enforcing the law. Shouldn't the legislator put an article of impeachment, and so he can defend himself on why is it that he has not enforced this law, and this impeachment should be sent to the Senate to see for him to be put on trial? Shouldn't that be the remedy for that? My opinion, but I would like to hear your opinion.
So this is how the law works in our country. The law provides that the impeachment power lies with the legislature. So and even at the level of the legislature, the bill of impeachment lies within the representatives, and the impeachment hearing lies within the Liberian Senate. So even if the Senate wants to impeach, they cannot impeach because the House of Representatives will have to develop a bill of impeachment. And if the failure on the part of the House of Representatives,
Mr. Bavo, we go again with your filibustering. I said,
I'm not sure you want me to speak on the functions or to speak on the position of the House of Representatives of the legislature. I'm not sure that's what you want. No, because if that's what you want, I'm not going to tell the representatives what to do or what not to do. I can only remind them that all our laws, impeachment power lies within the national legislature. And even within the national legislature, because we want a back-channel system, the House of Representatives will have to develop a bill of impeachment. If, as per their procedures, they think that not suspending an official of the executives for failure to declare their assets is a ground for impeachment, they have the opportunity to go ahead and develop the bill of impeachment and send it to the Senate. They know the procedures that the Constitution have laid out and their rules have laid out for impeachment.
I agree with you. My question to you is remedy. I'm asking for remedy. I'm asking since the president does not want to enforce the law, the code of conduct. He is in breach of the law. He is the president, but he is not following the Constitution. Nobody is above the Constitution. Nobody is above the law. Right now, he is supposed to suspend or fire everybody who have not declared their assets. So, since he is willfully, blatantly disrespecting the Constitution and the Code of Conduct by not enforcing, when he raised his right hand and put his left hand on the Bible and said that he would defend, protect the Constitution of the Republic of Liberia, he is not doing that. When he knowingly, like Mr. Recently said that he was pleading to his minister to declare the assets. So he knows about this. that he's begging them. Since he's willfully not doing it, shouldn't you and other people be going to the legislator, the House of Representatives, to put an article of impeachment on the table because the president is to impeach the president is misdemeanor crimes, high crimes and misdemeanor, to impeach a president. Let them put a bill for article of impeachment stating that he is not following this law. It's why they are impeached. They want to impeach him. Send it to the Senate for the Senate to try him off of that, for him to defend why is it that he is not following the code of conduct when it comes to what they say the law said it's supposed to do. I'm asking you, shouldn't that be a remedy that you as a supporter, that you were against President George Manuel Weah for not enforcing this law, that since that now is your God that is in, don't you think that you should not, that people of his party should not be a hypocrite but call him out on that?
Yeah.
Hello? Well,
Yeah, so I think that's the network problem. We hoping that we can get him back, but like I was saying, the president was appealing to members of the cabinet and others who he appointed in office, appealing to them to declare their assets, right? And I believe this is wrong. When you look at the code of conduct, it says before you assume office, you declare your assets. But even the president did not declare assets before assuming office. That's the first thing. The president took office before he declared assets, which the legislature also, they didn't play their part, they didn't play their role to summon the president. That alone calls for impeachment, because you should protect the Constitution. You took off during the inauguration, right? So when you appoint people, and these people are working at your will and pleasure, they are not respecting whatsoever order you give them, right? It is your duty, right, to take action, to suspend them, to dismiss them, or you take another action. But if you carry them in the room and you start to plead with them, you start to beg them, oh, I'm begging you, I'm pleading to you, please, we have to do. I think it means that you are not ready to uphold public trust. You are not ready for accountability. You are not ready for transparency. Because these are things you talk about. You spoke against them during the ex-president George Weah administration. That's why I wanted to get the view of Mr. Buffett. How does he feel when it comes to this entire asset declaration issue? Because he's one of those that supported the government. He was a chairman for a specific auxiliary. He was a chairman for a specific auxiliary. That's why I wanted to know. Yes, the president is not doing this. He's not protecting the Constitution. He's not protecting the Constitution. And the Constitution said,
welcome back, Mr. Buffett. Welcome back. I'm glad you came back. Did you?
Yes,
were you able to hear
my network?
question?
I'm in Nimba. I'm way in Nimba, one part of the Nimba, and so the network is fluctuating. But I'm happy to be back.
I understand, sir. I'm glad you were able to make it back.
Yes.
Were you able to hear my question?
Yeah. So your question, what I understood was, if the president fails to enforce the code of conduct, isn't it a ground for impeachment? I mean, that's what I understood.
No. That's
So
not
can
what.
you
No.
rephrase your question? Can you rephrase the question?
Okay. So the president took an oath to defend and protect the Constitution. As you, as an auxiliary member of the president campaign, to move, one of your thing was you said that the former president George Weah was not implementing the code of conduct and so forth. So, in good spirit, to be consistent on the issue, shouldn't you and the rest of your auxiliary be going to fix the remedy for that? Shouldn't you and your other people be going to the legislator to ask them to impeach the president because he is breaking the law? And they prepare an article of impeachment and send it to the Senate and let a trial be held. Let the president defend or say why is it that he is not suspending these officials. I'm not saying he should be impeached. I'm saying you, as somebody who chastised the previous administration, that I believe that you should be calling for his impeachment, working with the legislator to call for his impeachment, because he is breaking the law, as we all think that he is. We have an opinion that he's breaking the law, but let the law or the process take place, say on why he's being impeached because of this act. Because the Constitution states, to impeach a president is high crimes and misdemeanor, and I think this is a misdemeanor. So, what say you?
Good. Now, this is what I want to tell you, if you allow me. My obligation, my efforts was in supporting this president and convincing the Liberian people as a member of his national campaign team to vote for this president. That's one. Number two, this president, which I supported and brought to power, heads the executive, which is a distinct and different branch of government from that of the legislature. So my role in this thing, in fulfilling our promises to the people on the rule of law, is to engage the office of the president and not the national legislature. One, because I don't remember who I voted for in the legislature, what I even voted for somebody in the legislature. You understand? Because that's how I think of that whole body. That's how I think of that whole body. But I'm not going to go into that. So, what some of the things I did was to call upon this president, including through letters, communications, and several other means, that, hey, Mr. President, I can send you links of some of my publications and some of the newspaper articles that carry on my press conferences and my press engagement, calling on this president that you need to take action on your officials that are failing to fulfill, to go ahead and declare their assets, but not to engage the national legislature. No. If they think that the failure of the president to suspend people for not declaring their asset is a ground for impeachment, they have the constitutional leverage to go ahead. But I'm not going to go to them and say, honorable legislature, you got to impeach the president because, no, it's not my function. My function is to work with this president, which I pledged to ensure that he works to transform this country and to transform and improve the life of the people in this country. And if declaring your assets as a government official is one of those things, then I will continue to engage the president in the office of
My fellow Liberians, I'm sorry for the technical difficulty. We're having some difficulty. Our guest is all the way in Nima, and he's having a issue, and my co-host is also having an issue. So we you know we must go on. So as we were saying, some of the some of the my problem I have with President Burka not enforcing. I'm not calling for the president to be impeached. I'm asking for a remedy, and I'm just throwing out a remedy on that. And I just think that for me on this show, or when I go somewhere, I like for us to speak more with our chest, not just because this person is from our tribe, so we shouldn't call it for what it is. If we say we're going to speak truth to power, let's speak truth to power. When President Weah was in there, people were against him, people stood up, people marched, people protested, people complained, people, everything about why is he not punishing people who have not declared their assets because it's corruption, yada yada yada, and so forth. Now it's the time for us to for the now they are giving the opportunity for this to take place, and we are not doing it. We're not allowing the president. We are letting them to continue to do the same thing that was done in the previous administration. So, for me, when it comes to assets declaration, I think that the nation have to sit back and watch what this administration is doing. They're supposed to lead by example, and they are not leading by example. And I believe Mr. Buffett said earlier, no, my co-host said earlier that the decent, not decent work, but the code of conduct state that you're supposed to declare your asset before you take office, and that have not taken place. That did not take place with the president, so he was a violator of number one of that. So it stops. The buck stop was with him, and it's on him to do the right thing to make sure to hold these people accountable for what they are they are doing. So go ahead, Mr. Buffett, finish your thought.
Yeah, so in conclusion, that's what I was saying, that my engagement is with the office of the president, whom I supported, whom I helped to bring to power, and not with the legislature. If the legislature think that people not declaring their assets is a ground for impeaching the president, they know what the constitution says. They have the guidelines on how to go ahead with impeachment proceedings. But we will continue to engage this president through whatever means we can to ensure that we don't live like the past government. Because if we have to operate, if our modus operandi will have to be like that of the past government, then what's the essence? What was the essence of the change? What was the essence of the rescue? We defeat ourselves and we shoot ourselves in the leg.
All right, so now next, thing on topic, which will her and come back in. President Barker had left within the last 10 months of his administration, have left the country, especially attending forums and other formal events. What have we as a nation seen the positive side of that with all the traveling he have done over the past 10 months? What is the positive impact that his traveling have contributed to the welfare in the best interest of the Liberian people?
Well, Kali, I'm not the presidential press secretary. I don't intend to occupy that role. But what I can say, and what I can say on the frequent travels of the president, from a reasonable man standard or a reasonable man point of view, considering a government that just assumed power and is new in office, I do believe that it will require some time, some effort, some energy to network with people in the region and outside of the region to be able to, for example, for example, introduce oneself, to be able to present one's development agenda, to be able to lobby, and to be able to source opportunities, whether through investments or other means for a country. So in the president's first year, to have him traveling, like you said, frequently, I don't think I want to have too much of an issue with that, unless it is not bringing dividends. But again, if it was in the third, fourth, fifth year, then I would have an issue. I'll say, hey, this president has been governing for some time. What is the essence of the frequent travel? But in the first year, of course, you need a network. You need to get yourself embedded into the global system. You need to get yourself into the networks of presidents, of partners, all the kind of stuff. So I'm not sure I have too much issue with the president's frequent travels. My thing is that it should bring dividend back home. Failure for these travels to bring dividend then becomes an issue.
Okay, so you said dividends, but if you look at their arrest agenda, agriculture, and I know that the agriculture minister have traveled, and I think he's traveling right now. He's traveled extensively over the past 10 months. And one of my problems I have with this administration and with President Boyka is that he have not gone to other African countries when it comes to the arrest agenda. He have gone to, a predominantly white Asian countries when it comes to agriculture, seeking advice, seeking help, or even collaboration. That is my problem I have, that as a president, you have a moral obligation to inspire us to greater heights, for us to think of, to inspire young people, inspire the nation to see the best in themselves, to improve their self-worth and their confidence. And he knows, for somebody who has been an agriculture minister, that I believe that he should know that most of our people do not like to go into the field to speak agriculture. They feel that it's beneath them, or so forth, and things like that, or they have there's a stigma towards it. And the fact that he's going to white nations, Caucasian nations, Asian nations to seek advice, help, collaborate when it comes to agriculture, and not to African nation, that young black men and black women in Africa, in Liberia, to see themselves in their partner, for them to want to be in agriculture. That is my problem I have with him when it comes to the agriculture sector of what they are trying to do.
Well, I think there are two different things we're talking about here. One, the president, one, the agriculture minister. I don't intend to talk about the agriculture minister. One, I don't know him like that. I know we worked together during the campaign. He headed the technical room, of which I was part of. I supervised Grand Cape and Bombing County under his supervision, but I don't know him personally. I don't know him like that. He has not availed himself to some of us, the young people, to really know him and get to know him. So I don't intend to talk about him. It travels and all the kind of stuff, whether he's even making impact or not, I don't intend to focus on that. But the president traveling to outside of Africa and not African countries and all the kind of stuff, I mean, I'm not sure what's the rationale behind that, but come to think of it, many of the African countries, we are almost like on par. So if we need assistance, to say we're going to a country like Sierra Leone, we can help all, Guinea, we can help us, we want to do this in our agriculture sector, we want to do this in our energy sector. Many of these countries need the same kind of assistance we need. So if the president will have to travel for assistance purposes, and he decides to go to countries out of Africa, I think it makes sense. I think it's something that we must also hold. But to say that the president go to other African countries, unless to say, oh, let's those of them that are performing extremely well in specific sectors that we are not, so that we're going to learn from them, best practice, to learn what they are doing that we are not doing, to copy some of their methodologies, some of their strategies, to be able to bring it, to adapt it into Liberia. Yes, it makes sense. But to say, oh, let the president go to Sierra Leone, Guinea, to ask for assistance in the country, I don't think
No,
we'll
no, no,
be
no, no,
spending
no, no,
wisely.
no. I didn't say. I did not say. You see, this. And I'm glad you said it, you used the word assistant. This is my problem I have with us in Liberia, Africa, that we are always trying to look for handouts, and I think that President Barker should be above that for not looking for handouts for us to work towards self-sufficient. We always wanting people to give us the fish. We never want to learn how to fish. I get that you may not think that, oh, this conversation or what I'm saying, trying to the conversation that especially between you and myself and the public and Liberia and Africa at large. That's my point here. When he is going to go and beg for us to come and do for the white man or the Asian man to come and do our culture in our country. He don't need. If he had the policy, or they had the policy, or the economic environment for things to happen, a lot of blacks will be here in Liberia to do agriculture. My point of this whole thing is, we see that the president is going to Caucasian or white countries to go and ask for handouts. That's what they're doing. Why is it that we're not passing budgets to make sure that we are doing putting in tax code or tax ways in which that we can improve our sector to make sure that this improve? Why is it that he is not showing going to other African countries? You can go to East Africa, North Africa, South Africa, and stuff, to go and speak to other African countries, that the young black men and women in Liberia can see themselves in their age group or their peers, to say, okay, I want to go in the field. There's nothing wrong with me as a young black man or woman going and work in the field. That is my issue I have with the so-called arrest agenda, that is saying that, oh, the arrest agenda is based on, let's go beg the white man or the Asian man, China and so forth, for us to have that, for us to be able to have that. That's my issue.
My brother, what do you call it? Begging is begging. Whether you beg somebody for a fish or you beg somebody to come and teach you how to fish, begging is begging. So if you want to beg, whether for a fish or to teach you how to fish or to teach you how to own a fish pond, you need to beg strategically. Now, if you want to win, you got to engage and hang out with winners. You cannot be engaging people who also want to win like you, and then you think that you win. Because if they know, or if they have what it takes to win, they will be winners. They will not be like you, struggling to win. So I agree with you. We don't need to be asking for fish or begging for fish. We need to be engaging people who will teach us how to fish, or even teach us how to own a fish pond. Because if you own a fish pond, you can fish at any time. You can even wake up in the middle of the night in your boxer or whatever it is and go to the fish pond and fish. But you still need to beg people to teach you how to fish or teach you how to own a fish pond. So you get to be strategic in your begging, because here we are, like, bro, already poor, from poor country. Then we start to engage people who we know will not get any dividend. We already spent on the president travel all that kind of thing. Then that money will go in vain when I get nothing. So we need to be strategic about it. I agree with you that we don't need to be engaging too many people outside the continent, because Africans, if you talk about Pan-Africanism, Africans, we need to be there for one another, all right? But you cannot give what you do not have. You cannot go to somebody that do not have something that you want, and then you say you're going to ask them for it. They will not give it to you. Then at the end of the day, you end up seeing them to be bad or to be mean or something. But the honest truth is that they don't have it. They can't give it.
No, I'm not saying. I'm saying stop begging. Stop begging. I'm not saying go and beg the other African countries. I'm saying collaborate. What is it that y'all doing? How can you help? Let's say, for example, in Liberia we have cassava leaf. In Rwanda and other East African countries, they like to eat cassava leaf over there. We can be trading and stuff and so forth with them. How many trade deals have in the past 10 months has the foreign minister put forth from African countries for us to be able to sell goods? What is Liberia's plan? Where is the arrest agenda plan when it comes to joining the African free trade zone? What is the arrest agenda? What like the former commerce minister said that, oh, we were talking his last press conference, he was speaking of India reduced their tariffs on rice, so that's why the import of rice is the price of rice is lower. Why would India be reducing their tariffs on rice? Shouldn't we be reducing the tariffs on rice so that the price of rice can be lower? Those are the things I'm talking about. When I'm saying that I'm trying to get what is the Bweka Kun administration doing to empower Liberians? When is our leaders in our country going to say, let's force our people to be empowered, to go in the fields, to work in the fields, to be proud of themselves, be the soil to feed ourselves? All I'm seeing is President Bweka going to go and beg. All he's doing is going to go and beg. The agriculture minister is going to go and beg. This minister is going to go and beg. You see Senator what's his name from Bapolu? Amar going to the United States to go beg for medicine for Bapolu Hospital. Instead of him passing laws so that we can be able to import medicine to the country, they are going to go and beg. All we want to do is beg. What are we going to say? Okay, let's do this. Just recently, the AFL just begged for vehicles from the UN or from the AU. When are we going to say, oh, we want to buy vehicles, military vehicles from those people, but we're going to go beg for them to give us stuff instead of us going to go purchase it? That's my point. That's what I'm trying to get. I want us to elevate the conversation on this thing. I don't want to say begging. I'm tired of us begging. Then you see where if we're going out there to go and say we want to purchase this, we want to do this thing, then we start talking about the Liberian people. Say, oh, the senator complains, say, all the Liberian people coming to my offices to go and beg. If you the senator, you the president going to go beg, what do you expect the citizens themselves to do?
Well, you made me almost laughing because you sounded like you're speaking from a textbook, something that you've been reading. But in real life in Africa, in real life, there is no African country, even South Africa, where I was recently. South Africa that was developed with the mindset of the whites that were going to reside over there, and the people had to ask them from there. The South Africans are struggling to manage the systems that the white people left behind them, including the water company that was run by the Aqua Rams Limited, the electricity company, and all those kind of things. Let's talk of the other African countries that were being exploited from colonial and pre-colonial period. All of those that you see striving in Africa today, including the Rwanda, the Kenya, and all those countries that you might be tempted to name, are countries that passed through the stage that Abdullah is on today. They survive through begging because you need assistance. If you go to Zambia for today, you say you got Zambia. How are you making it? And Zambia tells you that, oh, our major export in this country is copper. We had the copper mines that were running, but we're failing on running the copper mines. We have to privatize the copper mines to white people. We have to take loan, and now that they are running the copper mines and exporting coppers, and they are giving us little or nothing. That's what we are using to run our system. If you go to Gambia right here by you in Gambia, they will tell you say our major export is peanuts, fish, and cotton. We got loans, significant loan from the World Bank and other financial institutions to be able to develop our peanut industry, to be able to develop our fish industry. And now we are able to export fish to the United Kingdom, to China. We are able to export peanuts. You have to beg.
No,
so
hold on.
Go to them, they tell you we beg for resources.
No, hold on. Hold on. I want you to pause. I want you to repeat something about the peanuts. What did Gambia do?
Gambia was able to get loans, significant loans from international banks.
Okay, that's my point. Repeat that again. Repeat that again.
I just said it. You heard me. I just said it for the second time. So bring your point.
I want you to repeat it one more time.
I just said it for the second time. You heard me. So bring your point. Let's save the time.
My point is that they went and got loans. We are not trying to get loans. We're trying to get grants. We're trying to get that and stuff. No. So I'm saying to you that right now, I know you want to say, "Oh, I'm trying to read from a textbook." Don't go there and say reading from a textbook.
No, but that's how you sound. You sound like you're reading from some textbooks. If you are abreast with current reality in this country, you will know that this government is engaging on two fronts. Both the front for loan and the front for grants. And what is more beneficial? Loan that you will pay back after several couple of years, and a grant that you will not have to pay back. Which will you go for? Tell me. I don't know if you have read some level of economics, but if you have read some level of economics and you have the opportunity to take a loan and a grant, what will you go for?
Right now, see, let me put it like this, right? In Liberia right now, if I was president, right? If I'm just to work with president, I would say we'll go for the loans. Because even the grant that they are giving you is not free.
Between you and I.
Hold on.
I mean, as an international development person, if I was president of this country, I would go for the grant. Tell me why you go for the loan.
Let me explain why.
I will tell you why I will go for the grant. Go ahead.
All right. Let me explain why. One, because when it comes to the loan, that I know as my administration that the loan will be put in place so that it will yield a benefit that we'll be able to pay it back. Let's take, for example, one of the things that I would say that, let's take, for example, our drugs, the drug infested our country have induced in here. If we were taking loan and stuff, that we were partnering public and private venture. If we were to build a X-ray machine at our border entry points, a car X-ray machine that can check every vehicle that is coming into our country. That we have people saying we're taking the loan for us to have this X-ray machine, and every vehicle that come in and out of Liberia, they are paying a tax, and those taxes go towards the loan to pay off that X-ray machine. That's how we'll do it. That we know that we pay for it. My problem I have with President Boyka, President Weah, President Ellen Johnson Sirleaf, President Charles Gange Taylor, what's his name? Moses Blah, Dr. Emma Sawyer, and Samuel Kanya Doe. My problem I have for them is that these loans or these grants that they are taking is not free, and they misuse the loan to not to the full advantage of benefit to the Liberian people. This is not textbooks I'm reading. This is actual facts. This is stuff that we know that these guys take loans, squander the money, Do not use the money for what it's intended to be used for. And then when time comes for us to pay the loan back, then we're not able to pay back because we have not done anything to make sure that we develop what the loan was intended to do. This is not up a textbook. We know this is what is happening right now. The loan and stuff that this administration have taken right now. Let's take, for example, the $22 million that they say that they were going to fix the roads. I went to the Ministry of Public Works. I was told that they will have people on every major road. The $22 million they will have people on every major road that they will be clearing that road that no car will be staking. That's what I was told from the Ministry of Public Works. So for the past, but now we have the rainy season that people from Maryland, going to Maryland, the southeast and so forth, Lofa County and so forth, those roads have not been improved. There's no yellow machine or whatever people want to call it sitting there as plying the road to make sure cars are not hitching. I went to the public work ministry and I showed them a technology that we support that I think that would be good for us to use. I was told, oh, this cannot work here. And I said, why? Have you tried it? No. We have not tried it, and we're not going to try it because it's not going to work. We don't want to use it. So I'm not saying something that I don't know. I'm saying something that right now I went to public work, and I dare anyone from public work to tell me, say that is not true. I have the receipts for that from when I went over there.
Okay, my brother. Now, I've listened to you. Let me take up a minute or two to teach you in the audience some little bit of international development, all right? And we could juxtapose between a loan and a grant. I'm not going to focus on the Minister of Public Works because I think he's not a serious guy. I think Joseph Boakai is wasting his time and his energy having such a man in what's his name, Roland Giddings as Minister of Public Works. I'm currently stuck in Nimba. I can recount how many times I have been stuck on the road and how many times I have to personally develop alternative routes by even paying people to brush roads, to create roads virtually. So I'm not going to focus on the Minister of Public Works because I think he's not a serious guy. He's a waste in this government, and Joseph Boakai is wasting his time behind him. But let me tell you a little bit about loan and grants. All right, if you as a president continue to engage in going on for loans and other stuff like that, I think you will be putting sometimes unnecessary burden on the next generation of Liberians who most likely will have to repay some of these loans. Whereas if you have the opportunity to take a grant, now you're talking about sometimes the current leaders, they will go and take the loan, they will not use it for the intended purposes, and then we as a country will still have to pay some of these loans back. Unlike if it's a grant, even if they don't use it for the intended purpose, we don't have to pay back. We don't have to pay back. But with the loan, it's clear you will have to pay back. Whether you get dividend from it, whether you get benefit from it or not, you will have to pay back. So as a leader, if you say you will opt for loans over grants, I think you'll be putting unnecessary, sometimes really, really unnecessary burden on the next generation of Liberians who will have to pay these loans. Unlike people like me who will go for the grant, if my cabinet or the people in my government fail to use the grant wisely, maybe it will just tint our name and our character, but the next generation will not have to suffer anything. So that's why I think that grants are still better than loans. However, if we go for the loans, we have to put in stringent measures in place to prevent public officials from using this money for their own personal gain. So you see why I say I don't want to talk about the Roland Giddings guy? I don't want to talk about him. Because for us to spend 22 million, to say we're using 22 million in 100 days, and then in the heat of the rainy season, we are stuck all over all our major corridors. And then you tell us that you use the money in April to put dirt on the road, whereas we're not raining then. Why wouldn't you save the money for the rainy season? So he's not a strategist. But like I said, we have precious time to talk more important things about this country than for me to say I'm talking about a guy like Roland Giddings, who I know is inept, he's incompetent, he does not have what it takes to be a Minister of Public Works, and Joseph Boakai, for whatever reason, President Boakai is keeping him at the Ministry of Public Works. Nobody knows, because we have complained several times that this guy is not capable to lead that ministry. Your key infrastructure development ministry, you have somebody who does not even understand their TR, and then I mean, I don't want to talk about Roland Guinness. Let's talk about the issues we're talking about. What do you call it?
We are not talking about Roland Guinness. I never mentioned Roland Guinness' name. You mentioned his name. We are talking about the issue. I'm telling
you.
You
talk about 22 million that was used for road. If you talk about 22 million that was used for road, who else are you talking about? You're talking about Roland Guinness.
Example. I'm giving receipts. The young people say I'm giving receipts on why they grant all the loan. Just because you say, oh, we will not pay it back. Yes, we are going to pay that grant back. There's something we are going to give up. Nobody gave us free money in the world. No money is free. However we think it is, it's not free. There's something our children or we are going to pay for.
My brother, I have spent over 15 years in international development, working for USAID, working for UKAID, working for Mercy Corps, working for Plan International, working for the Education Development Center, working for ECO in several international, but nobody pays grants back. Nobody. If you have any record of where people pay grants back, bring it up.
Mr. Buffett, I say this with the utmost respect. What I'm about to say to you right now. Right? With the utmost respect, I'm about to say to you. All the entity that you just named, they are useless. They are not doing they are doing more hurt to the African continent than they are doing to the with the help of our leaders. They are doing more hurtful things to the country, to the continent, than they are doing good. So,
I'm not going to go into that debate, but I know that when I was at Plan, I'm not here to promote this, but when I was at Plan, we built more than 150 schools in this country to educate Liberian children. When I was at the EDC, we educated more than 15,000 out of school youths. When I was at Mercy Corps, we prevented more than 30,000 deaths in this country during the Ebola period. When I was at Tetra Tech and EcoDate, we provided a secure land tenure for over 600,000 Liberians. But I'm not going to go into that. It's not why we are here. I'm not here to defend these institutions. I'm not here to talk about the fact that we have been doing this debate as Liberian technicians and Liberian technocrats. For you to say these institutions are useless, well, that's up to you. But I know the work, the level of energy and effort we put into these institutions for the upward mobility of our people and the economic and sustainable development and transformation of the rural communities and people that are living in abject poverty in this country. I know what level of work, day and night, rain, sunshine, we're on the roads.
All right, Mr. Wolokoli and Mr. Buffy.
Yes, sir. Go ahead, sir.
All right, thank you. I have listened for about 15 to 20 minutes now. I think it is interesting. I just want us to have a specific time for each of these talking points, because if we cannot allot time for all of the talking points, absolutely we will lost track on some of the discussion, because we still have lots here to talk about. You talking about, Mr. Buffett, you talk about the role and all that stuff. But again, the people are concerned about the government plan on roads. Like I said, we'll talk about the various letters. That's the various letters within the arrest agenda. Let's just go to the second talking point. If because I see some falling and pulling, if we would do so, then I think our major discussion will not be discussed. So I want us to look at the president have made some appointments, and these appointments I want us to look at the performing ones. You have the labor ministry, you have the educational ministry, you have the health, you have the transport, you have the Ministry of Public Works, like Mr. Buffett say, he doesn't want to discuss Roden Giddings, but Roden Giddings was appointed by the president. So there's a need when Roden Giddings is in error, when he's proceeding wrongly, Mr. Buffett, you supported the government, you put your body, your heart, your soul, your mind to ensure that President Boyka becomes president. These are reasons why we or the Liberian people removed former President George Manawia. My concern here, or my question, you as a steward of the Unity Party, I don't know whether you are a Unity partisan or from any party that emerged with the Unity Party to form a coalition, but you supported them highly. You brought other people on board. My question: there are some officials who have been into the media. They have been reported that they are not performing, and I'll just name some of them so that I get your view, get your say, and also from Mr. Wolo Kwali, the Minister of Public Works, the Ministry of Public Works, Road and Gaines. You have the Ministry of Posts and Telecommunication. You have the National Disaster Management Agency, Sekou Dole, um, uh, and Dukley. These are people uh, who name were mentioned in some of the media reports. Mr. Buffett, do you care to share with us what the president should do? Because the president again failed to prosecute those who have not declared their assets. These are those who are not performing to the expectation of the president because they work at the will and pleasure of the president. The president keep begging, he keep pleading to these people to do what they think they need to do. Mr. Buffett, where do you stand?
Yes, very good. There are a few things I will say on this. First of all, I want to start by doing a disclaimer. I'm not a member of the Unity Party. Yes, I did support this president. I even served as a member of his national campaign team, but I do see myself as a member of the NPP, the National Patriotic Party. And we believe that above all else, the people. All right? Now, when it comes to people who are not performing in this government, I think the onus is upon the president. We as citizens, we call his attention to people who we think are not performing, to people who we think are not promoting the rescue agenda, to people who we think are carrying the government's morale down. But at the end of the day, these people work at the will and pleasure of the president. We cannot coerce the president to take action against him. My thing is, the president will have to demonstrate leadership. You have to demonstrate honesty. You have to demonstrate integrity. You have to demonstrate commitment to these principles that we campaign on. To be selective in the discharge of your duties, I think it's unfair to the people that you will keep and to be unfair to the people that you get rid of. I'll give you one or two examples. One, when the issue, the hula balloon came up at the LDA, the president effectively immediately dismissed everybody, suspended them, pending investigation, and now we see that he has dismissed. When the rumors came about the then Commerce Minister Amin Modad, we see that he was virtually coerced to resign. And the most recent is the LRRC, where we see that the president has taken action and he has dismissed them. However, allegations and evidence has come about other areas and other people, like the Minister of Public Works that we just talked about, of his issues with corruption and managing the money, his ill performance, and the lack of performance on the roads and all that kind of thing. We see that nothing has been done. The issue came up about the Minister of Post and Telecom, of his failure to even provide at least electricity in the ministry for the workers to work on a current. whereas they have access to their own transformer. He has failed to do that. But he has been traveling all over the place and he has been witch hunting people in the ministry, all that kind of thing. The president has done nothing. We have seen where the rain has displaced citizens of this country. It has destroyed properties in this country. It has caused significant damage across the length and breadth of this country. And the National Disaster Management Agency is doing virtually nothing. And we see that this president again has done nothing about it. I could go on and on and on and on, including the Minister of Transport and all the kind of things. I think that if we have to be true to the Liberian people about what we say to them and what we do for them, we have to do it holistically. We have to do it across the board, and we don't have to be selective. It's not because Ronan Giddings is a unity partisan, and then maybe Richard Hoff is not a unity partisan, or all that kind of things. But this is the Rescue Alliance. And if you bring people on board and they are not performing and alarms are being raised, it should not be because what the person affiliates or because what they gave you as a leader or whoever, like people are saying some people bought the jobs that they having and all that kind of thing. No, it should be fair across the board. Your failure to do those things, then some of us now who participated in the process will have to raise the flag. We'll have to say what's on our mind and what we think is right. It's up to you to take it. It's up to you to leave it.
Mr. Wolokoli,
I think it's off.
okay. So another issue here, President, like you talk about these people, yeah, funding in a recent report has revealed the president in his he suspended the LCCC executive director Alvin Woolsey. That's it. That's Patrick. That's Patrick T. Woolsey. And this the president also dismissed order, but yet there have been no investigation. The president suspended two LDA officers from the Liberal Drugs Enforcement Agency. That's AB Command, how you call it, Bigas. Also, the corporate minister, he resigned. The president accepted his resignation. We haven't heard anything about investigation, launching an investigation. Do you think with the suspension of the current suspended executive director, do you think there's going to be an investigation? There's going to be a report that the citizen going to see to say yes, because he's taking action. The resignation of Army Modal, AB. The Liberian people have not heard anything from the president or sharing to the public what exactly for which they were dismissed.
All right. Thank you. Sorry, my solar light I'm using just went off. You know, I told you I'm in one of the remotest part of Limba. I'm not in some of the cities like the Kanta and all the kind of places. I'm in some of the villages. I'm using solar just went off. But you see, when it comes to equity, we normally say that he that comes with equity must come with clean hands. And the issue of people being accused of corruption and all those kind of things are not things that we're supposed to handle lightly, especially if we want to fix this country. For a very long time, corruption has been one of the things that have been eating the fabrics of our society. So, yes, I applaud the president's decision to suspend or dismiss the folks from the LCCC, but I don't think I need to end it. Not just LCCC, but every other area. If people are accused of corruption, they need to be brought before the law. Liberia is a country of law. And those of us from the legal background, we will normally say that there's a remedy at the court for every wrong. And if you feel that you are injured, you are not left without a remedy. So if people do wrong to the state, they need to be prosecuted. Some of them need to restitute some of these things that they are taking from us as a nation and as a people. Suspending or dismissing these people is not enough. And that is why when these things happen, we call on the president and say, Mr. President, it's not just about suspension, it's not just about dismissal, it's about ensuring that these people pay for their actions. So yes, LCCC, LDA, all the other areas, people need to be answerable. Recently, we're hearing that the likes of Moadi, the other Tyler guy, Salif Tyler at the Ministry of Transport, and all those people are involved with corruption, including bribing members of the national legislature. These are things that people need to be investigated for. And not just to dismiss them and then say, yes, it's okay, let's just leave it. No. Because we've seen in this country where people were dismissed for these kind of things, and after a period of time, they're brought back to government. So what becomes of the crime that they committed? What becomes of the offense that they committed? Oh yes, because they were just dismissed or suspended for a year or two and now they are back in government, so it means everything is finished? No. No. We have to stop the culture of impunity in this country, and we have to begin from a point. That's why, as one of the lead campaigners of the Fix the Country generation, I think that this is the generation that must fix this country. And for us to fix this country, these are some of the things we need to start pinpointing. These are some of the things we need to start frowning at. And these are things that we need to start holding our government and our leaders accountable to. If they fail to do it, we need to count it against them. And we need to get rid of them. Because if people carry on corrupt acts on you, and you just dismiss them, and you think that's all to it, it means you yourself, probably your hands in a cookie's jar. So you just want to use them as a sacrificial lamb, or you want to use them as the scapegoat. So yes, it's not just about dismissal, Wilfred. We need to go further. We need to go a step further. We need to empower our anti-graft institutions. We need to give them prosecutorial power. I know that those are some of the things the LSCC, the GNCC will advocate for. We need to go a step further. We need to be serious about the national development in this country. We need to be serious.
The president is not proactive when it comes to launching when these people resign or when these people they should account. Look at the governor who resigned. The other person, Liberian people yet to know why she resigned, what exactly the executive has done. An investigation being launched into how she managed the office, what are these things she did before arrest. The president accepted arrestation. The president accepted former minister arrestation. He dismisses or he dismissed Kroma. up to present, the Liberian people yet to get information. Coffee. Do you think this president is proceeding the proper way? After he said he will respect the rule of law, he going to prosecute people who going to manage public resources. I confirm these people mismanage resources, but again, there's a need for investigation. Do you think this president is serious against the fight of corruption?
I mean, Wilfred, you are saying the same thing. You are saying the same thing. We don't need to end our fight against corruption at dismissing people. People needs to be held accountable. Accountability, transparency. These are some of the things this president said. These are some of the things this president campaigned on. So if people are not doing the right thing, they need to be held accountable. Dismissing them is not enough. So you are saying the right thing. We need to caution this president. We need to call the attention of this president that, hey, Mr. President, that's why I keep reminding him. If you've been following me, you know that I keep reminding him about a lot of things. We need to keep reminding this president, Mr. President, you said this and you were doing that. If you said this, you have to do this. Mr. President, you said ABC, and now you are doing this. You know, we got to keep reminding him because these are things that will judge him by. These are things that will judge this government by. We're not going to just let it slide. This is a different generation of Liberians, and we'll continue to incite this generation of Liberians in the right direction. We'll continue to build their mental capacity. We'll continue to present real life issues to the young people of this country and even the older people of this country that, hey, the world is not just the way we see it. We need to help them to get a wider and a bigger world view. That way, when they do their analysis, they'll be able to do it from a very unique and distinct perspective, and not just thinking that Liberia is a small country. Yes, Liberia is a small country, but Liberia is a very big country. So I agree with you. We both are saying the same thing. The president's action against corruption and transparency should not just end with dismissal or suspension. It should go one or two steps further towards further investigation. And somebody, let's see the LDA incident. See how long the report took for the president just recently come up and say, oh, yes, we do this, we do that. No. So many investigations should be rapid because they are key. Unless we want to say that we don't see these things as a priority. But if we see the issue of corruption as a priority, we see the issue of lack of transparency as a priority, when investigations are being done, it needs to be rapid, it needs to be swift, it needs to be fast, and actions need to be taken. We need to be radical.
Mr. Wolokoli, do you have a question for Mr. Buffett concerning the concerning the suspension of the health policy directors and other officials of government who resigned and who were dismissed? Do you have questions for Mr. Buffett?
No, I think Mr. Buffett, myself, I think read a question, man. Not read a question, but just to opine on what he said, and I respectfully agree with him on this issue. The president, and he said the president needs to take action. I believe and I think most people believe that the buck stops with the president, and he cannot be doing what the past 3 or 4 administration did, and he's calling that change. But it is one of those things that people wants to be loved instead of respected. Or this administration is thinking about the next election instead of governing the people to the best way possible. They don't want to do it. They're thinking about what will help them to win the next election. So that's why they're not taking action like they're supposed to. And people are going with impunity when it comes to to that. And I think that the president needs to step up and do what is necessary in the best interest of the Liberian people to lay the framework for the future generation for people like Mr. Buffett and myself and you, Wilfred, that that will set the stage for us to be able to hold people accountable for what is needed. Because what he's doing is the same thing that people that you know people before him or administration before him or presidents before him did. So it's on him to get out of that box, get out of that will, get out of that tendency to say, oh, let it slide, sweep it under the rug. And
Okay.
I'm appreciative of Mr. Buffett to speak on that and passionately not pulling back and expecting that this president that he supported is to hold him accountable. And I myself, I supported this president. I will continue to hold him accountable. I don't know if Mr. Buffett know that I supported him. I know he probably think the way I was questioning him, pushing him, that I didn't support this administration. But sometimes we got to hold our own accountable for what they are doing.
Okay. So just on dates, because I left. We'll talk about this and then last talking point. And this has to do with the arrest agenda. You all supported the agriculture, road of law, education, sanitation, and tourism. What do you see in the past 10 months? Where do you see this president? Is that
So, Mr. Buffett, let me just chime in with that. I'm going to put a question back at you. So let me put a disclaimer on this, and I'm going to push you a little bit. I want us to elevate the conversation again. So my disclaimer is, yes, I did support President Boyka for president, but my support was not that President Boyka had a plan to fix the arrest agenda, to implement the arrest agenda. I didn't think that there was no plan on how he would implement the arrest agenda. I never supported President Weah to be president since 2005. I written a few articles about, or maybe one or two articles about President Weah, where I believe that he's incompetent and never took the opportunity to learn the job or to care for the job. The only time I would have supported President Weah for president if he was running against the progressive, someone vis-a-vis or AKA Councilor Taiwan Gonglo, because I think President Councilor Gonglo would be more dangerous than President Weah to the Republic of Liberia of the progressive agenda that they have. So I think with President Weah, he's incompetent. He's a party boy, and with Councilor Gonglo, he'll be more dangerous and destroy the country more because of what the progressive have done in this country. So that's one of my disclaimers. And I don't think that President Boyka, the Boyka Cohen administration, had any plans on the so-called agriculture, rule of law, and so forth. They never lay out. They just wanted people to vote against President Weah, to vote for a vote against President Weah, which I still think the Liberian people made the right choice, because I don't think President Weah demonstrated the resiliency of what it is to be a president. He was given a mandate. He was given the opportunity to lead a country, and he failed to lead a country. He did everything that was in his best interest and not in the best interest of the Liberian people. With that being said, I voted for President Boyka because I think that President Weah. I think that President Boyka administration would have been. I believe that I still have hope that his administration would be the reset of April 13, reset April 12, April 13, 1980. That's what I think. But that's not what I'm seeing so far. But I'm gonna give them a little bit of time. But moving forward, now to you, Mr. Buffett, what I said I didn't see any plan. I didn't see no agenda. I didn't see how they were going to do stuff. What is it that you think that what was their plan for what the city were going to do when it comes to the rest agenda, when it comes to agriculture? What was the agricultural plan that they laid out that they were going to do this? Or the rule of law on what they were going to do?
All right, thank you. This is a question that I've been faced with for a period of time now, doing a campaign and since after the campaign. The issue of the arrest agenda, in my opinion, is one of the most strategic plan for sustainable development in this country. And the reason I say this is because as a person, I've had it.
Will, can you mute your mic?
I think I'm a solo creating that sound. It's gone off and the battery is misbehaving, but I think Will's mic is muted. Can you hear me? Good. So I was saying that I, as a person, have had the opportunity to work actively in all the 15 counties. I've had the opportunity to work in more than 1,000 villages, towns, and communities, 1,300 where it is now. And when I evaluated the Propo agenda and the arrest agenda and that of what the ANC was proposing, based on what I've gathered from all these communities and based on the stories I've listened to from real remote community dwellers across the country, I thought that supporting the arrest agenda was the right thing. All right. And that is the reason why when Ambassador and President Joseph Boakai called me onto his national campaign team, I accepted the offer. I accepted the opportunity, and I work actively on the campaign team to ensure that this president becomes president. The plans were clear. Agriculture was the top priority. This president thought that there are a lot of Liberians that are employed in the agriculture sector, and there's a need to boost the agriculture sector. Those that are using cutlasses and hoes, we need to be able to create an environment where they can be able to where they can go into mechanized farming. The issue of the roads, he always said it, roads, and roads. To the extent that even in his some of his first statement, he said within his first 100 days, no car was going to get stuck. Had it not been for an inept Minister of Public Works like William Giddens, the story would have been different. The rule of law, we complained on some of the things that the past government was doing. We felt that George Weah and his friends were just having party. They were not leading this country. They were not providing leadership. And people were dying in this country all over the place. A lot of crazy things were happening, and the laws were not taking its course. So we campaigned on the rule of law. We also campaigned on education. We thought that education is the work of people, and the human mind is the center stage of the development process. And so if Liberia must be developed, the minds of our people must be developed. That's why we have to invest in our education sector to make sure that more Liberians are educated, not just educated, but educated with the right skills and tools that they need for nation development and transformative development. Then we move on to sanitation. If you live in Liberia today, you go to the hospitals, you interact with our health workers, you notice that most of our patients that go to the hospitals, they say to us that it's allotafo, malaria, or in some cases, infection. There are very few instances of chronic diseases or terminal diseases or other conditions as such. But the vast majority of our people, if it's not malaria, it's typhoid, or malaria and typhoid combined, or it's infection. And so we thought that some of these things that are causing malaria, typhoid, all kind of things, because the communities are dirty. We're not living with good hygiene practices. So we prioritize sanitation and said that, look, let's deal with the basic. If the basics are put in place, our people will live healthy lives. Because sanitation includes taking care of the water that you're drinking, it includes covering your food nicely, it includes throwing your diet away to the proper places, it includes a lot of things of that sort. Then the last one is tourism. Liberia is a beautiful country. We're able to identify some key and strategic parts of this country that can be developed into tourist sites that people can be able to come to Liberia to see. And the advantage is that when these people come, the revenue will not just go towards visa acquisition and all the kind of stuff, but it will boost our transport industry because these people are not coming with their vehicles and what have you. So if they have to go to Patawi in Bon County, they have to charter or rent some of the cars, and our local transport service providers will be able to benefit. When they come, they have to lodge in our hotels. Our hospitality industry will have to benefit. They'll have to go to our nightclubs and our entertainment places, and those that run those places too will have to benefit. They'll have to eat our local foods and all the kind of stuff. So we saw that tourism brings more to the country than just on visa or the tourists themselves. Some of them will even have to pay tour guides or what we call fixers to take them around the countries and all that stuff. And it will also create jobs and put money into the Liberian economy. So the plan was holistic, or let me say the plan is holistic. My only concern, and which is the concern that a lot of people are having, is whether we are implementing as we said we would do, or we are drifting from the plan. And that is where I always want to hold a conversation with this president, Mr. President. We made this promise. Mr. President, when no member of the Unity Party wanted to go to Nukutan to campaign, I was the one that took my men to Nukutan. When no member of the Unity Party wanted to go into some of the tough and difficult terrains, I was the one that took. In fact, during the campaign, I was branded as the Rescue Mission General. So I feel that we are under obligation to hold this president accountable, because there are thousands of people that said to us and said to others that we voted for this president because of you. We voted for this president because of some of the things that you said. I can send even voice recording of where people crying. They're crying, sending me voice messages of them crying that, hey, the way the thing going, this was not why you told us. Some of us went into this thing because we believe in people like you. We know what you get, all the kind of stuff. And so we feel that we are under obligation to continue to hold this president accountable. But when it comes to the arrest agenda itself, I think that it captures what this country needs now. If it must progress in prosperity, if it must progress sustainable development, and if it must transform the standard and the quality of life of the people in this country.
So just quickly, we are out of time. Let's just use 15 minutes on this. There's a current situation right now in the country. The country is on a serious national issue. The House of Legislature, the Speaker, you have 43 men against him that want his removal. The president and that of the speaker, they were in Italy room with conference when this entire speaker removal came up. And of course, since then, it continues. The Supreme Court, they have engaged the Supreme Court. Yes, the Supreme Court calls for due process. Their rules talk about two-thirds of the Constitution. But again, when you look at 49 of the Constitution, it talks about two-thirds to remove any of these lawmakers from their position, not the speaker. When you also look at Article 43, it talks about two-thirds to remove the president, the vice president, and the Chief Justice or Associate Justice on the bench of the Supreme Court. Currently, the budget should be presented to the House of Legislature, especially the House of Representatives. The Speaker does not have the number to conduct session. For the past 4 or 5 sessions, the Speaker was unable to conduct session due to quorum. The majority bloc, which is headed by Nimba County District Number 5 Representative Samuel Cougar, they are hard session. This is it. The law is talking about majority, two-thirds. Yes, you should have 49 to remove the speaker. Who is the right legitimate owner to conduct session? Where should the budget be presented? Where should the president now present the budget? What's your feeling when it comes to the speaker removal? Should the speaker be removed? Should the speaker be maintained? This is it. Liberians are watching. They are listening to you. Give your view and let them hear what you have to say so that in the next coming days, the president can know the next step to take. And that of the Senate. Yes, NIM has been coming out. They are sponsoring the removal. In recent time, the vice president was mentioned, the deputy speaker name was mentioned, and again, the former president of the Republic of Liberia today, his name was mentioned. Yesterday, the former president spoke about the speaker. He disappointed in the deputy speaker, but it has also been reported that is the former president is fully supporting the removal of the speaker. Today there was this press conference which was released from the CDC where they suspended all of their lawmakers. That's temporary suspension. Where do you guys stand
Yeah.
in the speaker saga?
All right, Wilfred. I'm one of those who have been shying away from speaking on this whole speaker removal thing because we need to be careful here. The legislature is a political body, and so most of the things that happens in there are political, right? And when it comes to the issue of the court will not answer political questions. All the questions the court answers are legal questions. And when the court is even faced with a political question, the court sends it to the politicians for the politicians to answer. But to be honest, I see a convergence here. Drifting away from the issue of political questions and legal questions, which are, of course, the politicians, of course, the representatives and the senators will answer the political questions, while the court answers the legal question. I see a point of convergence here. And I think that the forces of very interest that have gathered against this speaker. All right. And at this point, I think it only takes God and serious political moves that will save him from being ousted or from being removed from power. Power and money are on display. We've seen allegations of people saying others took bribe, whether 15,000 or 25,000. You know, there are others that think that it's about the 2029 elections. But at the end of the day, like we all know, it will require up to 29% to remove the speaker. Okay, there are laws in this country. However, both sides needs the majority to preside. And as we can all see, the speaker is struggling to obtain majority. Whereas the majority bloc, as they call themselves, have the majority, and currently they even have the deputy speaker. You know, so like I said, I'm one of those that have been shying away from speaking on this whole speaker saga because sometimes I think the whole legislature needs to be dissolved. Sometimes I think they're not serious over them. But again, this is a country we run. where we have three different branches of government, the legislature being the first branch of government. So yeah, we have to live with it. We have to live with them. But I'm not taking really significant interest in the debate that is going up there because I don't have much interest in that party. I think that we need serious people over there to be able to bring to life that title honorable to the House of Legislature.
All right. Okay. Yeah, Mr. Wolokoli.
I'm going to take the plead the fifth on this. I'm not going to. I already spoke on the speaker. My only thing I'm going to say that he is not an honorable man. He shouldn't even have been a representative, let alone being a speaker. That's how I'll leave my comment at that.
Okay. So thank you. Just before we leave you, especially Mr. Boville, let's hear your parting statement, what you got to say to the president who you supported. Do you still believe in the arrest agenda? Do you still believe President Boyka with all of what is happening? Do you believe the president can deliver this country within the next because the year almost ends, so should I say the next 5 years? Do you believe in the president?
The our guest lost connectivity again, so we'll have to wrap it up. Um, uh, Will, thank you for the show today. It was an honor to have the guests that we had. Hopefully, we will see. We'll have more guests to join us. Mr. Buffer, I hope if you're hearing it, I enjoy our exchange. I hope I wasn't too tough on you, that you will want to come back again. It was a pleasure having you. To everybody listening, watching on YouTube, please like, share, and subscribe to the channel. This is something that we're trying to bring to educate the viewers who want to elevate the conversation, not to just be to the entire shop conversation, but let's look deeper. Let's think farther. Let's elevate our mind on what the conversation should be. It shouldn't just be to, oh, this person is corrupt and that's what we leave it at. Let's do more. Let's talk more. Let's elevate our thinking. Let's elevate our mindset on having a technical debate on what is it that we need to have, what's in the best interest of the Liberian people. I want to say thank you for watching. I hope everybody have a wonderful evening. Will, it's yours. Will.
Okay, thank you. Again, I want to say thank you to you. Thank you to our guests for coming. And we hope that we continue to bring more guests on the show. We continue to bring these questions, these topics, so as to solve or to address some of these issues, to make analysis on what the government should do, what the government should have done, and what is the best way for the government to go. So again, I just want to leave it as it is. We hope we keep informing the Liberian people with the rightful information. Again, thank you to the Quad TV family, and let's keep doing the Liberian people job. I like to call on all of you who are watching to like, share, and comment on this video. Thank you so much, and follow our page.
Thank you to everybody. Have a wonderful night. Please turn in 10 o'clock GMT to listen to us on Eagle Talk with Liberty Radio.
Welcome to the Eagle Talk Show Uncut.